What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Ujurak, and today I'm coming at you live. And I just wanted to talk about something. So it's honestly made me really sad to see the franchise that I love and I've spent so much time with kind of fall into this pit of nothing. I just want to give my 2 cents on what I think is the cause of all this and what I think should be done. And again, this is coming from a perspective of, yeah, I've done high-end stuff, I've done contests, but I'm not really like playing the game super often. I've been playing off and on for 11 years, and yeah, I don't put in the most time, but holy shit, like, this is the worst I've ever seen the game ever. And the Steam charts just, they prove it. So first off, I just hate the way that the game feels right now. The whole reason why I fell in love with Destiny in the first place was because of the gunplay. It feels so good to freaking shoot in Destiny. I don't know what it's I mean, it's Bungie. They're the kings of making guns feel good to shoot. I just feel like it all went wrong when that became secondhand to min-maxing and ability spam. And yeah, you've heard this a whole bunch of times, but I think I have a little bit of a different angle. Like, the difficulty in all the content that's come out so far is just, it's all super inflated. It feels like the game is, yo, how do I manipulate the game in these crazy fucking ways to get a 3% increase in damage, and then maybe if everyone does that correctly on my fire team and there's no mess ups whatsoever, just maybe we'll finish the encounter. Back in the old days, and I hate to be like, oh, it was so much better in Destiny 1, but in Destiny 1, in any encounter, it felt like you actually dealt damage and you felt powerful and you felt rewarded through getting to the point where you are able to do damage. Damage felt like an expression of your skill. It's like, you perfectly did all this, now you get to feel rewarded mid-encounter. But nowadays, especially in Equilibrium, like contest mode Equilibrium was fucking exhausting. It feels like the game is now, oh my, let's suffer through the worst mechanics of all time just to see if we pass the test. And so that makes every encounter feel like a chore. It's like, oh, I'm not getting rewarded until I finally beat the boss. And that's what I feel like Destiny 1 really hit on, is when you were dealing damage, it felt like you just accomplished something massive. Like, oh my god, we actually dealt damage to this guy. And it wasn't like, oh my god, I hope we deal 3% more damage than we normally do so we can actually beat this thing. No, you felt badass. Like, as soon as the damage theme starts kicking on in Crota, it's like, holy shit, this is freaking insane. But nowadays, it's like, oh my god, I'm so stressed out. If I don't get a 2% increase in this damage, we're done. We're done, and everyone's gonna blame me. I'm gonna get kicked because I'm using well radiance, and oh my god. And so, like, before the game turned into just min-maxing your damage, it actually felt super rewarding because you felt like you earned it. You felt like you outsmarted the game, you survived, you dealt with the mechanics in the way that they were supposed to, and you were always given a sense of accomplishment all the way up until beating the boss. But now, as soon as I defeat an encounter, I'm like, holy fuck, thank God. That just shows the problem. Instead of feeling like, dude, I'm awesome, I just did this, it's thank God that's over. And so that feeling, like, absolutely deters lower skilled newer players from even wanting to get into this higher end content or content that they're supposed to be interacting with. Because why the hell would you when it makes you feel like that? And I'm not saying that every damage phase should be like an easy damage phase like freaking Oryx, like it just guaranteed damage. What I'm saying is you shouldn't have to do 50 freaking hours in the shooting range just to get your rotation perfect, and then you get into the situation is, bro, if my rotation isn't completely on point, it's over. What I'm saying is it shouldn't demand perfection, not even at the highest level. In contest mode, yeah, it should probably demand perfection, but just in regular like raids in like 3 feats, there's no reason why people should be stressed out of their freaking mind during the damage phase when that should be the reward. You got to deal damage, kick ass. In other words, what I'm trying to say is, I feel like if you were to make the mechanics phase of these encounters be the actual test. Be like what makes the encounter hard, and then have the damage phase be the reward, be the empowerment of the player. I feel like that would change a lot on how bad the game feels right now. And that lost sense of empowerment directly feeds into the rise of ability spam as an attempt to make the player feel powerful in itself rather than dealing damage. And so this is deterring new players from doing things, or just the general population in general, of doing hard things. And so now all the high-end gear that people get from these high-end things have 0 weight. Why the hell would anyone covet these items if it's such a brain destroyer of a damage phase like check to get there? Nobody wants high-end gear anymore, and nobody covets anything in this game. Dude, back in the day, people would dead ass get beamed up by Vex Mytho class in 0.7 seconds and not even get mad. They would get respectful. They would respect you because it was like, okay, you did some hard shit and you got an insane piece of gear, and I want that piece of gear. People would just be like in awe of what that gun represented. The hard work you had to put in of mastering the mechanics in normal, and then beating it in normal, and then finally going to hard mode and mastering the mechanics in hard mode, and then beating it in hard. It was something that was really sought after. And nowadays, there's just nothing in the game like that. It's like, oh, you can have this exotic, you have this piece of raid gear. Who cares? I can't even tell you what the raid gear is. And that kind of leads me into my next point. So I have an opinion that is probably going to get me a lot of hate comments, but I actually don't care. So unironically, I dead ass think Destiny was at its peak back in the day when you could still get a blue from legendary engrams. Yeah, okay. And yeah, you're probably gonna come up and be like, oh my god, it's just Cope, you just like Destiny 1. No, I'm not. It's not about that it was Destiny 1, because if it was in Destiny 2, I would like it, okay? It was annoying as shit, okay? You finally get a legendary engram. You spent hours trying to get a legendary engram, and it decodes as a blue. I really feel like that feels bad. But you know what it did? It made legendaries actually rare. And so people were going in to Vault of Glass with rare items. When has that ever happened to Destiny ever again? That is such a cool feeling because it makes legendaries rare. And then raid gear is even rarer than that. And it shows that, like, that's a high-end piece of gear, and people saw that Vault of Glass set in the tower, were like, holy fuck, that guy's a full Vault of Glass set. He's insane. When you saw someone with the exotic you wanted, you were like, holy shit, if I could just be them. I want that exotic so much, I would do anything. Like, exotics were so rare. I remember people straight up breaking their headsets the first time that they got an exotic, or they got an exotic they really wanted, like Gallarhorn. And I remember that because I was one of them. I straight up tore my $150 headset in half after getting Gallarhorn for the first time. It changed my life. I still remember that. When is the last time that's ever happened to me in Destiny? Never! Like in Destiny 2, I swear I have access and get more exotics than legendaries at this point. So I just have a little question, okay? So over the course of Destiny 2, why in the fuck was there not a rarity higher than exotic implemented? I just don't understand, because they killed the rarity of the exotic and so they had to drop how powerful exotics actually felt. So there's nothing in the game that really makes you feel good, makes you feel cool. So why in the world is there not a rarity higher that emulates that feeling again? Literally just change the color and lower the drop rate of a gun, and so you don't have to nerf it. It was, oh my god, I'm getting bad. So the way that they're combating exotics not being rare and these super powerful guns that are supposed to be like the best guns ever, they can't be super powerful because everyone has them. The way that it's getting dealt with is by abilities getting buffed up. So people have that badass moment with abilities, but that's not what feels okay. Abilities feel good in the game, but that's not what makes the game feel good. it all comes back to shooting things. That's what the game is. It's an FPS. And so throughout the course of Destiny 2, they've just run away. They're like, dude, we gotta make the guy feel powerful, but we can't make the guns feel powerful. We can't make the guns feel powerful because they're not rare anymore. There you go. Let's do grapple melee. You get to one-shot the boss with just a simple melee. Or we're gonna chunk. We're gonna chunk with Warlock, and so you feel super powerful. Holy, you're doing so much damage with your grenades. Fucking insane. Okay, let's move on before I literally like blow a fuse and get a stroke. So, I ultimately think not embracing the MMO genre really spelled the end for Destiny. So, I mean, in Destiny, back in Destiny 1, Activision didn't, well, I can't even put the blame on Activision after how bad Bungie's handled the IP. But Activision, specifically, didn't want to label the game an MMO, so it would have, like, a huge audience, like a super broad audience. That was 12 years ago, bro. Literally move on. They've tried so hard to pretend that they're not an MMO, but they're adding MMO shit into the game. But they can't make it fully MMO because it's like, dude, that's an MMO. We can't do that. Yo, housing? Bro, chill, bro. We're not an MMO. Freaking clan battles? Bro, what are we? World of Warcraft? We don't have guilds? Factions? Dude, hold on. We're not an MMO. Let me feel like this world is alive. Where is trading? Can someone tell me where the hell trading is? Like, you know how well and how great that would be for the feeling of Destiny if trading was a thing, so you could scale up the rarity of exotics, and bam, if people want an exotic, a specific exotic, just save up, bro. And Bungie's always taken the stance of like, oh, we want everyone to be able to earn everything. Bro, that's what trading is. That's what trading is. If you're not skilled enough to do this super hard PvP quest to get this really good PvP gun, but you want the PvP gun, fucking save up 250,000 glimmer so you can buy it. Yeah, you're gonna have 0 glimmer left, and it's gonna take years, but you're gonna be able to get it. Before you come at me for that, I do think some items should not be tradable. There should be soul-bound items, which means you can't trade, or you can only trade with people that were in your instance whenever you got it. But I think if it's not a raid exotic, if it's not tied to a quest, why the hell isn't everything tradable? You know how long it took me to get Fatebringer? It took me 10 years to get Fatebringer. If I was able to trade for Fatebringer back in the day, I would have spent every ounce of my being saving up and looking on the auction house. Bro, who's selling Fatebringer right now? I need to get in contact with them. I need to talk to them. But you see what that's actually doing? Something as simple as trading. It's getting people to talk to people. How is the community going to talk to each other? Let the world feel alive. Let me live in this world, literally, with player housing, that I could show off my achievements and be like, yo, I did this, I did this, I did this. And people can see this and be like, dude, I want to live there. Dude, I want Crota's head. I want freaking the Desert Perpetual freaking Hydra chilling over my bed. But it seems like every edition that Bungie made was MMO light. Let me introduce crafting, but let's have the crafting totally ass. Let me do feat raids with modifiers or activities with modifiers, but it's just inflated difficulty. Specifically with featured raids, Destiny wants to be World of Warcraft so bad. They want to be Mythic Pluses so bad, but they're not going fully into the MMO realm, so everything just seems half-assed, and then nothing has any effect anymore. Literally, let the community interact with each other with these systems, and people will stay and play the game and not leave like they are now. So no one is invested in the gameplay of Destiny anymore because it's all about getting through simple mechanics that really aren't that hard and that are rather a chore to get to the damage phase. And instead of feeling empowered during the damage phase, you feel absolutely shit on. And so the way that the game makes you feel more powerful is by doing ability spam, and we already know that that's just a bad meta. And what is really truly great about Destiny is the way that it feels shooting things. So the way that endgame feels just completely devalues the spectacle of endgame loot and then it kills the rarity of these coveted items because nobody cares. Nobody cares anymore. Nobody wants to do it. And when players don't have any care for a physical reward or don't have anything to aspire for, they're not going to be invested in the world, and they're not going to connect with other people, which is going to make people playing not stay for as long as they could. They're just going to leave because the game doesn't feel good. And so what am I ultimately describing? It's the portal. The portal is a combination of all these things. Just absolutely destroying the game. You're not connecting to anyone because it's literally just a menu and you just click some buttons. It devalues rarity because bam, you can just go get what you want. And then it's killing the interconnectivity of all the players in the game. Now you're just staring at a menu and clicking some buttons, and you're in a game by yourself because no one's playing the goddamn game. So if I were to fix Destiny, bro, I would kill the portal, add a rarity higher than exotic, make things actually rare, including legendaries, convert the game back into a shooter, have players be empowered during the damage phase rather than tested, and have the mechanics phases be the test rather than just some filter and some slop you have to get through to get to the real test. And then fully embracing the MMO genre with player housing, player trading, auction houses, better crafting, factions, clan battles. Yeah, I've sort of rambled on, but I think you get my point. I really hope that a Destiny 3 gets made. Like, if Destiny dies in the state that Destiny 2 is in right now, I think I would cry. So I'm sorry for this crazy rant, but I just had something on my mind. I hope you guys like the new content. There's a lot more coming, and thank you guys for watching. I'll see you later.